so now that we've covered all of the kind of the key ideas for number properties on the GRE, let's go ahead and just try a few questions. I'm going to do, we've got basic, advanced, basic, intermediate, and advanced. We'll go through some of these for the basic, and then I'll make videos for the advanced and the intermediate. But I would strongly encourage you to just pause the video, take a screenshot, and see if you can figure these things out on your own. Okay? But that being stated, let's look at this. Number one should be pretty straightforward. Why this is a number properties is it's just making sure that we take care of the signs, right? We have -7 plus this thing in the parentheses. So remember, when we have parentheses, we try to figure out what that would be first. So -4 plus 3, that is just going to be -1, right? So it ends up being -7 plus -1, that would be -8. Hopefully not too difficult. Okay, look at this one. A divisibility question. Which of the following numbers is divisible by 7? Now that was not in our set of rules, but that's okay, because frankly, I have to say, frankly, these rules are not necessarily worth memorizing, because on the GRE, you can use a calculator, you can just try something. So we didn't have a rule for divisibility by 7, but if we kind of look through it, you know, you could test each one of these things out. When they say divisible, what they really just mean is what will not give us a remainder. So that would be 56. You can test that. Okay, and then number 3, which is greater? This is an important one. Absolute value of -6. This one I'm going to flag because this is something that you should have down. Absolute value of -6 or -6 itself. Remember, absolute value of anything is a positive value because what it's measuring, whatever's inside there, put smiley face, it's supposed to be smiley face, whatever might be inside there, it's measuring how far away are we from 0. That's literally what absolute value means. And we can never be a negative distance from 0. We are either at 0 right there, or we're some distance away in the positive direction or some distance away in the negative direction, but in either case, we always are some distance away from 0. Okay? So if there's anything that you get out of this video, what you should remember is that the absolute value is always positive. So just automatically, absolute value of -6 is greater than -6, because absolute value of -6 says that we are here. We are this many steps away from 0, but that's 6 steps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that is automatically greater than the negative number. Okay, and then let's look at these things here. 4, 5, we'll try to do this fast. Okay. The product of an even number and an odd number. Anytime that you're dealing with evens and odds, just pick some numbers for this, right? So just pick a random even number, whatever, 4, and an odd number, 3. What happens if we multiply those together? We end up with 12. Is 12, the question is, will the result be odd or even? 12 is even, so we're done. That's it. Literally, just pick something, plug it in. The sum of 2 odd numbers, same thing. Let's pick 2 odd numbers. How about 3 and 3? 6. We add those together, we get 6. It's even. We're done. I know I feel like I'm running through this rather quickly, but this is important, is that when you're asked about properties of even or odds, whatever you pick will work. Like I can test it, some other random odd numbers. 5 and 17. How about that? Add those together. What do we get? 5 plus 17, 22. Even. It doesn't matter. Okay? What is the greatest integer that will divide evenly into both 48 and 60? I kind of feel like, well, actually, I'm not going to go through all of these here, but I want to go through maybe a few, and you can, try the rest of them, or send me some comments if you'd like to talk about other stuff. But look, I think I kind of want to just do number 6, and I want to do number 9. The other ones should be relatively straightforward. Okay, what about 6? What is the greatest integer that will divide evenly into both 48 and 60? Okay, so what we're looking for here, if we're looking for something that will divide evenly into numbers, that means we're looking for a factor. What is the biggest number that can divide both 48 and 60? Well, we can think about this. And the way that we do this, there's a couple of ways, but here's sort of the short, way of doing it, is let's figure out what is the prime factorization of both of these. Okay? So whenever we're looking for the greatest possible common factor or smallest possible factor for that matter, either way, let's break this down into the primes. So let's just do the 48 for a minute. So that would be 12 and 4, and that's 2 and 2, and this is 4 and 3, which means that's 2 and 2. So the factors for, the prime factors for 48 are 2, 2, 3, 2, 2. Okay? Now, let's do the same thing for 60. Let's see, we've got 6 and 10, we've got 5 and 2, we've got 3 and 2. So those factors are going to be 3, 2, 5, 2. If we're looking for the greatest integer that can divide, we want to find something that has the maximum number of common prime factors. So let's just think about this for a minute. 48, that number has 4 2's and 1 3. This one's got 1 3, 2 2's, and a 5. So what's the biggest thing that they have in common? Well, they both have 2's in common. This guy's got 2 of them, this guy's got 4, so the maximum that we could have that they would share would be 2, right? You see that? And then this one's got 1 3, and that one's also got 1 3, so that's, we have that in common. This one's got a 5, which is not shared here, so we have to leave that out. So the biggest set of factors that they have in common would be a 2, another 2, and a 3, which would be, you multiply that all out, that's 12. Okay? That's the largest number that would be able to divide 60 and 48. Hopefully that made sense. Okay, I know this video is running a little bit long, but let's go ahead and try question number 9. And I'm going to snip this out here for a moment, just to make some space. There we go. All right, let's load back up. What is the smallest possible integer divisible by both 18 and 7? So we're looking for what number, unknown number, can be divided by 18 and 7. What's the smallest one that would work? Okay, well, same thing. Whenever you're asked about smallest or largest, first thing you want to do is figure out what are the prime factors for each of these things. So for 18, it can be divided by 9 and 2, and then 9 can be broken down to 3 and 3. So the prime factors for 18 would be 3, 3, and 2. And then for 7, well, it's prime already, so it's just 7 and 1, right? So it looks like a number that would be divisible by both 18 and 7 would have to have all of these factors right here. Would have to have, let me just go down the line. You have to have 3, a 3, a 2, a 7, and a 1. Well, if we multiply all that together, that would get us to, what is this, 9 times 2 times 7. I'm going to pull up my calculator. I probably could do this in my head, but I'm getting old. So what is this number going to be? 18 times 7 gets us to 126. Now, that would be the smallest number that could be divided by all these things, 18 and 7, because those are all the factors. It's the smallest because we didn't include any other factor, right? We had 3 times 3 times 2 times 7 times 1, and that was it. As opposed to I could, add another 2 in there, or a 5, or a 7, or whatever it might be. and that would make this number larger. Oh gosh, I feel like I'm confusing everybody here. Flag this. You have my contact information. So this is like, what was this all about? I don't understand. Let me know. But I have a feeling you probably get it. If you're finding the smallest possible integer that can divide these things, all you want is just the barest minimum of the prime factors, and that's it. Yeah. Okay. We'll pause. This was running rather long. Let's pause this. We'll do another couple of problem sets, and that'll be, yeah.